Control emotions like a Stoic. What if I told you, your greatest power isn't found in your voice, your fists, or your intelligence, but in your ability to stay calm when the world is on fire? What if every moment of rejection, every insult, every storm of emotion, was actually your chance to practice the strength of a warrior philosopher? And what if the secret to this quiet power was written down by an emperor who ruled the greatest empire the world had ever seen, yet battled demons not so different from yours? Welcome to the wisdom of the Stoics, and welcome to Stoic Emotional Control. In this series, we're not here to suppress your emotions or pretend they don't exist. We're here to master them. You'll learn how to face rejection with grace, how to turn anger into insight, how to stay composed when others lose themselves. Our guide is Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, and living proof that true power comes not from control over others, but control over the self. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack real-world Stoic strategies for handling emotional chaos, 13 timeless lessons forged in adversity, each designed to sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, and help you walk through life's fire without getting burned. This isn't theory. This is a blueprint for strength, for dignity, for emotional resilience. So if you're ready to stop reacting and start responding, if you're ready to rise above drama and reclaim your peace, stay with us, because we're about to show you how to control your emotions like a Stoic. And it all begins with one of the hardest, yet most powerful skills of all: when to stay silent, and why doing nothing can sometimes be the strongest move of all. Lesson 1. The power of silence. Let's begin with silence. Not emptiness, not absence, but the powerful, deliberate silence of someone who knows their worth. In a world obsessed with noise, tweets, opinions, arguments, silence is a rebellion. It's a Stoic superpower. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always own the option of having no opinion." There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul. Now think about that. How many times have you felt the urge to respond, to correct someone, to defend yourself, to jump into the heat of a conversation? But here's what the Stoics teach. The strongest response isn't always loud. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is nothing. This isn't passivity, it's mastery. The silence of a mind that doesn't need outside validation to feel whole. Imagine someone tries to provoke you. Maybe they throw a cheap insult. Maybe they belittle your effort. What happens if you say nothing? They expect fire. You give them stillness. They want chaos. You give them clarity. That silence? It's deafening. Because it shows you are in control, not them. You are not playing their game. You are holding your ground in the most Stoic way possible. Seneca, another Stoic master, wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, and to stay silent, in the face of provocation, is courage at work." You see, silence gives you time. It creates space. In that space, you choose your next move, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. It allows emotion to pass, and reason to rise. That's the core of Stoic emotional control, not suppression, but space. The next time you feel pulled into an argument or drama, ask yourself, is this worthy of my peace? Does this require my energy? Or can I remain still and keep my power? Because power isn't in the volume, it's in the choice. And now that we've understood the strength of staying silent, let's explore the next challenge: anger. That fire in the belly, that flash of heat. What do the Stoics say about mastering that flame? Let's turn the page. Lesson 2. Mastering the fire of anger. Anger. That sudden surge in your chest. The clenched jaw. The raised voice. The pounding heart. It feels powerful, doesn't it? But the Stoics had a different view. To them, anger wasn't strength. It was slavery to impulse, to ego, to emotion unchecked. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" Let that sink in. The consequences of anger, what it leads to, are almost always worse than what started it. Think back. Have you ever said something in anger you later regretted? Slammed a door, ended a friendship, lost control, because of a fleeting emotion? That's the fire the Stoics want us to understand, not just feel. But how do you master it? Not by denying it. The Stoics weren't robots. Marcus himself admits he felt anger. But he also trained himself to pause, to observe it before acting on it. He journaled his frustrations. He reasoned with his own mind. He practiced the pause, that sacred moment between stimulus and response. That's your power too. You can feel anger rise and still not let it rule you. Instead, ask, is this anger useful? Is it justified? Or is it just noise, trying to hijack my peace? Seneca advised, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. You don't fight fire with fire. You fight it with clarity, with calm. Because anger promises power, but it rarely delivers it. True power is keeping your cool in a heated room. It's choosing restraint when the world expects rage. It's the parent who corrects with calm, not yelling. The leader who acts with logic, not spite. The partner who listens instead of lashing out. This isn't weakness, it's discipline. And discipline is the backbone of Stoic emotional control. So the next time anger bubbles up, take that breath. Pause. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want? And will anger take me there? Then choose the higher road. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours to choose. Now that we've tackled the fire of anger, let's turn to its shadow, rejection. That quiet ache, that sting in the chest. How does a Stoic respond when the world says, no? Let's find out. Lesson 3. Rejection is redirection. Rejection. That word alone can sting. Whether it's a job you didn't get, a friend who stopped calling, or a dream that slipped through your fingers, rejection feels personal. Heavy, like you've failed. But the Stoics? They saw it differently. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. In other words, don't take failure personally, take it as guidance. Stoicism teaches us that what we can't control is not our enemy. It's our compass. Think of it like this. You knock on a door, and it doesn't open. That doesn't mean the journey is over. It just means you're being directed somewhere better. Rejection, for the Stoic, is not a wall. It's a signpost. You didn't get the opportunity? Perhaps it wasn't aligned with your path. Someone walked away? Maybe they were never meant to stay. A plan collapsed? It might be clearing space for a better one. When life says, no, Stoicism doesn't say, give up. It says, good, now, what's next? This mindset doesn't just soften the blow, it transforms it. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you step back and observe. What can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? You start to see rejection not as a reflection of your worth, but as a chance to grow in wisdom, to refine your direction. There's an old Stoic exercise called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. It means imagining in advance all the ways things might go wrong, not to become negative, but to prepare your mind, so that when rejection comes, as it inevitably will, you're not destroyed. You're ready. You've already seen it in your mind. And more importantly, you've rehearsed your response. Not panic, not despair, but reason, reflection, forward motion. This is how a Stoic handles rejection. They don't let it close their heart. They use it to open their perspective. They don't become bitter, they become better. And they don't say, why me? They say, what now? So far, we've learned the power of silence, the control of anger, and how to turn rejection into redirection. But what about emotional triggers? How do we stop being hijacked by sudden reactions and start responding like the Stoics? That's what we'll uncover next. Lesson 4. Emotional hijacking and how to disarm it. We've all been there. Someone says something cruel, a plan falls apart, a driver cuts you off, and before your mind even has a chance to respond, your body already has. Your heart races, your breath shortens, you feel that surge, anger, panic, shame. That's emotional hijacking. It's when your emotions get behind the wheel before your logic even buckles in. But the Stoics? They practiced training for this every day. They knew the mind, left untrained, is like a wild horse. It reacts, it runs, it panics. But when tamed, it becomes your most powerful ally. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the foundation. The power isn't in preventing the emotion, because emotion will come. It's in what you do next. Here's the Stoic move. You pause. You insert a breath between the stimulus and the reaction. You remind yourself, I am not this emotion. I am the observer of it. The Stoics used reason like a sword, not to cut others, but to defend their peace. So when you feel emotionally hijacked, try this. Step 1. Name the emotion. Not, I am furious, but fury is present. That small shift, it distances you from the feeling. You're no longer inside the storm. You're watching it pass. Step 2. Ask the Stoic question. Is this useful? Does reacting right now improve the outcome, or just feed the fire? And step 3. Choose your response. Deliberate, grounded, controlled. Imagine doing this not once, but every day. That's what the Stoics trained for. They visualized misfortunes before they came. They rehearsed discomfort. They practiced seeing emotions like weather, passing, not permanent. You can too. Because the truth is, every time you respond with calm, you rewire your brain. You teach your nervous system, we are safe. We are in control. We do not panic. This isn't weakness, it's supreme strength. To feel the heat and not let it burn you. To feel the wave and not let it drown you. To feel the hijack and choose to take back the wheel. This is Stoic mastery. But what happens when the emotion doesn't pass quickly? When sadness lingers or regret returns like a shadow? In the next lesson, we'll learn what Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics taught about suffering, and how to carry pain without letting it consume your soul. Lesson 5. Grief, sadness, and Stoic healing. Grief is the shadow of love. Sadness is the echo of something cherished. The Stoics never denied sorrow. They never told us to shut it down or man up and ignore the pain. Instead, they taught us how to carry it without letting it crush us. Marcus Aurelius lost many people he loved: children, friends, mentors, and in meditations, you can hear his heartache, but also his clarity. He writes, "Do not suppose that things hurt you. It is your opinion of them. Take that away, and the hurt goes." Now, this doesn't mean we don't feel the loss. Of course we do. It means we don't feed the loss with stories that make us suffer longer than necessary. Think about it. We say things like, "This shouldn't have happened. It's not fair. I can't go on without them." And maybe those words feel true. But the Stoic asks, is that thought helping or hurting? Instead of resisting the sadness, the Stoics invite us to witness it, to let the emotion move through, not take root. You can cry, you can ache, but you do it with awareness, not attachment. You say to yourself, "This pain is here, but it is not forever. This sadness is natural, but I will not let it define me." That is Stoic strength, not the absence of grief, but the guiding of it. Seneca, who also experienced deep losses, wrote to a friend grieving his child, "No one can grieve long unless they make an effort." At first, that sounds cold, but it's not. It's love, disguised as discipline. He's saying, feel it fully, then let it pass. Don't rehearse the pain forever. So how do we heal? Stoically, we return to purpose. We live in honor of the one we've lost. We use our pain to build compassion. We turn our wounds into wisdom. This way, grief doesn't break us. It deepens us. Sadness doesn't end us. It awakens us. The Stoic knows everything is borrowed, and everything returns. So we love fiercely. We say what needs to be said. We show up fully, because we never know how long we have. This isn't detachment. It's the most radical kind of presence. You carry the loss and still live well. You feel the ache and still walk forward. That is the Stoic way. But life isn't just filled with loss, it's also filled with people who test our limits. Over and over. In the next lesson, we'll talk about dealing with difficult people, the critics, the manipulators, the emotional hijackers. What do the Stoics say about protecting your peace when surrounded by chaos? Lesson 6. Difficult people and emotional defense. You wake up calm. You drink your coffee. You've even read a passage of Marcus Aurelius. But then, someone cuts you off in traffic. Your coworker starts another pointless argument. Your phone lights up with drama you didn't ask for. Sound familiar? The Stoics knew life isn't just about managing our own emotions. It's about protecting that inner peace when other people try to hijack it. Let's face it, there will always be critics, manipulators, the passive-aggressive, the rude, the reckless. But here's what Stoicism reminds us. We are not responsible for their behavior, only our response. Marcus Aurelius puts it best. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Powerful. It means you can walk through insults and provocations like a rock in the river, unmoved. So how do you deal with difficult people? Stoic style? Step 1. Understand them. People lash out from their own wounds. The person who mocks you may be drowning in insecurity. The one who gossips, usually terrified of being irrelevant. The Stoic doesn't excuse their behavior, but he doesn't take it personally either. He observes, he detaches, he refuses to be pulled into someone else's storm. Step 2. Boundaries. Stoicism doesn't mean being a doormat. It means you set clear limits with firmness, not fury. You can say no without being cruel. You can walk away without making a scene. You can protect your energy without needing to prove anything. And when you feel that spike of anger or indignation, pause. Take a breath, ask, is this worth my serenity? Would Marcus waste his time on this? Most of the time, the answer is no. The Stoic doesn't fight every battle, because not every battle deserves to be fought. He protects his peace like a treasure, because it is one. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, don't let them. Smile if you can. Stay silent if you must. But above all, stay rooted. Because true strength isn't about overpowering others. It's about not being overpowered by them. Of course, even when we handle others well, there's one critic we face every single day, ourselves. That voice in your head, full of judgment and self-doubt? In the next lesson, we'll learn how the Stoics faced internal enemies and what it really means to control your inner critic. Lesson 7. Mastering the inner critic. Let's be honest. Sometimes, the most difficult person you deal with isn't your boss, your family, or that stranger online. It's you. That voice in your head, the one that whispers, "You're not good enough." The one that replays your mistakes on loop. The one that mocks you for even trying. We all hear it. Even Marcus Aurelius did. But here's the Stoic truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And once you understand that, everything changes. The Stoics knew the mind could be a battlefield. But they also knew it could be trained, just like the body. Marcus wrote in Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Meaning, what you think, consistently, becomes who you are. So when the inner critic starts to speak, the Stoic doesn't panic. He doesn't believe every word. Instead, he pauses, observes, and then asks, "Is this useful? Is this thought helping me grow, or holding me back?" The Stoic mind is like a gatekeeper, welcoming the thoughts that serve, and letting the others pass like clouds. You see, emotional mastery isn't just about anger or fear, it's about self-talk. Imagine if you spoke to yourself the way Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself in Meditations, not with judgment, but with guidance, not with cruelty, but with calm correction. That's Stoicism in practice. It's not positive thinking, it's accurate thinking. It's seeing your flaws without shame, and your potential without ego. When the critic says, "You failed," the Stoic replies, "Then I've learned." When the critic says, "You're not enough," the Stoic replies, "Let's see what I can become." This is the voice we train. This is the mindset we build. Because if you can master your inner dialogue, if you can turn that critic into a coach, you become unstoppable. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, when that harsh voice creeps in, don't argue with it. Just breathe, observe, and remind yourself, you're still here, you're still growing, and your worth isn't up for debate. And while taming our inner critic is key, there's another secret to Stoic emotional control: using rejection, not as a wound, but as a weapon. On the next page, we'll uncover how Stoics flipped rejection into resilience, and how you can too. Lesson 8. Turning rejection into redirection. Rejection. It stings. It twists the gut, tightens the chest, and whispers, "You're not wanted." Whether it's a job, a relationship, a friend group, or simply an idea we put out into the world, rejection has a way of hitting us right where it hurts. But here's the Stoic truth: rejection isn't personal, it's redirection. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Rejection? That's the impediment. And for the Stoic, it's also the invitation. The invitation to evolve, to reassess, to take a new path we would have never seen had we gotten what we wanted. Stoics don't see rejection as failure. They see it as feedback. A lesson, a test of alignment. If something doesn't go your way, don't crumble. Pause. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because 9 times out of 10, that no is creating space for a much better yes. Here's the power play. The Stoic doesn't chase after what rejected them. They don't beg, they don't rage, they redirect their energy inward, toward discipline, purpose, and growth. You lose the job? Build your craft. You get ghosted? Work on your worth. You're excluded? Create your own path. That's Stoic resilience in action. It's about not handing your self-worth to someone else's response. Because when you tie your value to external approval, rejection breaks you. But when you ground your value in virtue, courage, wisdom, character, nothing can shake you. Even rejection becomes just another teacher. You see, Marcus wasn't writing about philosophy in a palace, sipping wine. He was in military camps, battling sickness, losing children, fighting wars. Rejected by nature, rejected by fate, and still, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's not just theory, that's spiritual strength. So the next time you hear a no or feel shut out, don't let your mind spiral. Let it sharpen. Don't let it harden you. Let it hone you. Because rejection, it's not the end. For a Stoic, it's the way forward. Now that we've reframed rejection as redirection, we'll move even deeper into the rare Stoic art of managing expectations. Why it's often our own assumptions, not life itself, that cause the deepest pain. Ready to explore that next? Let's turn the page. Lesson 9. Expectation is the enemy. Why do we suffer? It's not always because life is cruel, but because we expected it not to be. Think about it. How many times have you walked into a situation with a picture in your head of how things should go, only to be crushed when reality didn't match? That's not life failing you. That's your expectations setting the trap. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." In Stoicism, this is one of the deepest lessons. Suffering often doesn't come from what is, but from what we thought it would be. Expectation is a hidden tyrant. It sneaks in quietly, paints perfect pictures, whispers promises, then vanishes the moment reality walks in. The Stoic answer? Drop the illusion. Not by becoming numb, not by losing hope, but by shifting your focus to what you can control: your preparation, your mindset, your response. Because the more rigid your expectations, the more fragile your peace. Here's the Stoic practice. Instead of expecting people to behave a certain way, prepare to meet them as they are. Instead of assuming a day will be smooth, prepare for delays, mistakes, setbacks. Why? So that when things go wrong, you don't crumble, you adapt. You expected nothing, and therefore lost nothing. It's not about pessimism, it's about realism, grounded in emotional strength. Because the Stoic doesn't fantasize about perfect outcomes. They build the inner strength to handle any outcome. Seneca wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware as if it were silver, but does not take it for silver." That is, appreciate what is, but don't be fooled by appearances. Expectations are illusions. Reality is your teacher. So next time you feel let down, pause. Ask yourself, not, "Why did this happen?" but "What did I expect?" Often, the answer is right there. Because when you free yourself from expectations, you're free to meet life with clear eyes. You suffer less, and you experience more. Now that we've confronted the weight of expectations, let's move deeper into another emotional trap: the craving for praise and validation. Why do we give away our peace for a compliment? On the next page, we'll learn how the Stoics taught us to stop chasing applause and start building unshakable self-worth. Let's go. Lesson 10. When life is unfair, be unbreakable. Let's face it, life isn't fair. Not always. Not even often. You'll work hard and get overlooked. You'll love deeply and still get hurt. You'll do everything right and still feel like the universe chose someone else. So what do you do when life feels rigged? The Stoics would tell you, don't waste time cursing the wind. Adjust your sails. Marcus Aurelius, sitting atop the most powerful throne on earth, wrote these simple words: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not just a quote. That's a revolution. Because it means you can't control outcomes, but you can always control your outlook. This isn't toxic positivity. It's spiritual armor. It's what allowed slaves like Epictetus, emperors like Aurelius, and warriors across centuries to endure unbearable hardship without becoming bitter or broken. So when life hits hard, what does the Stoic do? He looks inward. He asks, "What is still mine to command? My thoughts, my choices, my attitude?" And in that answer lies freedom. Maybe someone lied about you. Maybe you lost something precious. Maybe the world moved on and left you behind. You don't have to pretend it doesn't hurt. You don't have to smile through the pain. But you do have a choice. Will this suffering define you or refine you? There's a kind of quiet nobility in those who keep walking when the road vanishes. Who choose to rise, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." So embrace the friction. Let it polish you, not shatter you. When life is unfair, be unbreakable. When the weight feels unbearable, grow stronger shoulders. When all seems lost, remember, nothing can take your character from you. Unless you give it away. You're not just surviving hardship. You're becoming the kind of person hardship cannot defeat. And that leads us to the final piece, the quiet legacy of those who endure. Not loudly, but faithfully. How can we carry Stoicism with us? Not just as a practice, but as a way of being? Let's close with the last lesson on building emotional mastery that stands the test of time. Lesson 11. Let rejection sharpen you, not shatter you. Let's end where many journeys begin, with rejection. The slammed door, the unanswered call, the opportunity that never arrived. It stings, it echoes, it lingers. But what if rejection is a gift? Not a punishment, not a curse, but a test of your clarity and a forge for your character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This is not about denying pain. It's about directing it. Rejection is redirection. It is life whispering, not this path, not this person, not this time. Think of it as a form of training, a resistance that strengthens you. Every time you're passed over, you gain proof that your self-worth must never depend on approval. Every time someone says, no, you get to say, yes, to yourself. Rejection reveals who you are without applause. It shows you the difference between fleeting validation and lasting value. The Stoics never promised ease. They promised strength. They taught that your peace must come from within, and your sense of purpose must be unshakable, even when your plans fall apart. You didn't get the job. They didn't call you back. The world didn't give you what you thought you earned. That's okay. You're still here, still growing, still capable of extraordinary things. The Stoic doesn't break when life says no. He sharpens. She adjusts. They continue. Because your value was never based on outcomes. It was always rooted in how you respond. When you meet rejection with dignity, when you hold your head high and keep walking, you do more than survive, you inspire. You prove that you are governed not by other people's choices, but by your own principles. And in that moment, you've won something even more powerful than approval. You've won freedom. So the next time rejection knocks on your door, smile. You've just been given another chance to become unshakable. Now you know what it means to control your emotions like a Stoic. To lead with wisdom, not reaction. To carry yourself with calm, even in chaos. To live with depth, not drama. If this journey spoke to something inside you, if you felt that quiet strength rising as we walked through these 11 Stoic lessons, then this is just the beginning. There's more ahead, more resilience to build, more peace to claim. So subscribe, follow, or join our Stoic circle, whatever that means for you. Because the world needs more stillness, more strength, more self-mastery, and it starts with us. As always, thank you for listening, and remember, you are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present, to walk with courage, and to choose, every single day, to become the kind of person life cannot shake. Let's keep walking, like Stoics.